Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends of Gomztalkz. A pleasure to greet you once again on a new Thursday podcast, Gomztalk Thursday. And it's the continuation of this great series of creators. And today we have a special episode because it's our first episode in English. And we're very excited to bring you a great creative mind. Rudy Hertanto, a graduate of Hult San Francisco, founder of Patémar. A true pleasure to have you today in the podcast, Rudy. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me, Sebastian. I'm feeling great. It's 10:24 p.m. here in Bali, and which is invertly what you have there in Mexico, but feeling good. It's a good way to end the day.
Yeah, because here we have both sides. For you in Bali, it's the end of the day. For me in Mexico, it's the start of the day.
Exactly.
So it's nice. And to start right off, I like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Rudy Hertanto? What is his major in? How does your story begin and your passion, for example, for the sea and for the fashion industry?
Sure. So my name is Rudy, as you know it. I'm originally from Indonesia. When I studied at Hult Business School, and when I was studying, I majored in management. The So the fashion industry came essentially from my family business background. They are in garment manufacturing industry. They've been doing that for ever since my grandpa was doing it. So it's been there for quite some time. And I mean, I grew up with this thing, right? So I go to see the factories and how they're making it and see how the deals are made, negotiations, and how to lobby. Because here in this part of the world, we always deal with businesses over dinner, over so it's a lot more familial rather than transactional when it comes to dealing with businesses here. Um, but yeah, anyway, so that is sort of on the fashion part, and that's how I understand a lot about fashion production processes and also retail and supply chain, etc. On the other hand, I grew up very close to the ocean, to the water. Indonesia is obviously is this world's biggest archipelago. We have around 18,000 islands, so every little city is almost like it's an own island in itself. Um, so yeah, I think the love for the ocean, for water, it's quite in it for me, and I grew up around it. And as an adult, I started taking an interest in scuba diving. So after getting my license, I just kept on taking full advantage of it, diving here and there. In Bali, obviously, we got a lot of cool dive sites as well. But outside of Bali, around Indonesia, we have probably one of the most amazing dives that I've ever done outside of Indonesia as well. And that's essentially where I find my love for the ocean. When I scuba dive, it's you just can't hear anything, right? It's so quiet down there. The only thing you can hear is your own breathing and your heartbeat. So it feels like you're on a meditation almost. So that's essentially how my like the background of the love for the ocean and also fashion comes makes up who I am today, I guess.
Nice. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about that we were talking outside the podcast. I'm also a certified diver here, and I got the license here in Mexico. And
Nice.
that's just why I love it. Because when you're down there, it's just like you, and you only listen to the bubbles that go out of your breathing, and you're like just chill. You don't hear anything. You're you, the animals, and the peace of the ocean. And also for me, it's super interesting how we know more about space and out of the earth and more about the ocean.
That's true. That's very true. It's kind of freaky to think about it, right? But I think that what makes it interesting, there's that bit of a mystery. So there's just enough mystery for you to be comfortable with, or at least for me to be comfortable with. So it's everything is not out in plain sight. There's still some mystery behind that we just never know.
Exactly. It's amazing. Uh, Also, to start watching your story from the beginning, what did you want to be as a child? Like 7, 8-year-old Rudy, what he wanted to be?
I wanted to be a zoologist. I love animals. I still do. But my absolute favorite animal at the time was probably a giraffe. Um, because
Uh,
they have long necks and they look very friendly. So I've always wanted to be a zoologist. I worked hard to study biology. I later found out that biology is not my strength. So I I pivoted to business, but in my heart, I still very much so love animals, and yeah, it's a childhood dream that sadly will never come true. Or I guess we don't know. Maybe one day I'll become a zoologist.
yeah, and right now you created 100% sustainable brand from the from the fabric to all the packaging that I see that it's amazing. You send it up to the Netherlands. How does this process of creating Patémar, and how did you
Hmm.
do it? What was the base of it, and how do you manage to finally make it like a business all around?
Um, so the idea to me came on a dive actually in Komodo Island, which is it's an island in Indonesia where Komodo dragons are from. And until today, it's still the most beautiful dive that I've ever done. So I spent a few days there to dive in different dive sites, which was super amazing. But at the same time, I still see a lot of plastic trash in the ocean, which is really sad because on one side you see like a pod of manta rays, like swimming on one direction, like it's a highway full of manta rays, which was really cool. But on the other hand, you see just a lot of like shampoo sachets, and you see a lot of plastic bottles as well floating. Some of them are like deep down there just because it's been there, I don't know, for god long, god knows how long. um so the idea came to me, if I could, what if we reimagine um taking all that plastic that was once a pollutant and turn it into something that people use to go back into the very same water. But before it was, so prior to that, it was a pollutant. Now it becomes something beautiful, something very nice, something eye-catching, something people use to stir up conversation. So people at the beach can say, look, that shorts is really cool, where'd you get it from? Then you can proudly say, oh, I got it from this or this and that store. It's actually made 100% out of recycled plastic, right? So that is essentially the idea of why I created Patamar and how I got it. It's nothing scientific. I didn't take a look at I didn't do the market research first. I didn't do, like, I went to a business school. You went to a business. You're at a business school right now, so like the things that they taught you about, like, okay, let's do market research, segmentations, all those things, right? I didn't. I completely. I just don't think about any of that. So that's why when I started this, I started this with my business partner who also went to the same business school. Um, I called this for the longest time a passion project because I didn't know if there was going to be a real interest in it, or if it's actually going to make any money. But I also didn't care at the time. But then it grew and grew, and then we got some recognitions here and there. And I thought, okay, cool. People actually like this product. You know what? Why don't we commercialize it? So yeah, that's we're still on the process of doing that right now.
Nice. And how, I have a question. How do you
Hmm.
like target at the end the market to be a luxury company, like, and
Right,
compete against Vilebrequin and the big luxury brands, or to
right.
be like another brand?
Um, at first it was just I wanted it to be a satire take on expensive brands, right? Because what I see on the market right now, when it's sustainable goods, it's usually they forgo the model, they forgo the fit, they forgo the how comfortable it is. So, and that's what I'm trying to demystify here, right? It could be sustainable, and at the same time, it could also be comfortable. It could also be good looking. It could also be well designed, The same thing with luxury products. What I see there is that um, very few luxury products are actually made out of sustainable materials. There are a couple of considerations. Maybe the mindset or the limiting beliefs right now is that if it's luxury, it has to be made out of leather, for example. It has to be made out of fur. But as what we see here is that there's a trend shifting away from that. Right now, there are vegan leathers. Now people are banning fur, so there are faux furs right now. So how about fabrics in itself, right? Why do we have to stick to a piece of fabric that is literally made out of fossil fuels or petroleum, which is, we know, objectively really bad for the environment, right? Why don't we regenerate something that is already there, that doesn't break away for hundreds of years, and we use that resiliency, we use that characteristic of the material into something beautiful, into something premium. So um, I decided to take a stand and to say, like, you know what, a luxury product could also be sustainable, and also be well made, also be fairly made with fair wages, with local artisans here in a third world country, and we're selling it to countries like Germany, Switzerland, France, UK. So that's essentially where the idea came from, and of course my business partner is from Austria, so it helps a lot with us importing, or yeah, for them to import our stuff into the European Union, and that's how we set up the business to be.
Nice. Yeah, my favorites are the Portico and Sunrise Blue, the ones that are like kind of
Okay.
with touches of blue, but they are orange. They're amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
honestly, when you see the website that all the ones that are hearing us, they can see it is patémar.com. It gives
Hmm.
me a little bit of vibes of Casablanca, the
Okay.
luxury brand that makes shirts in general. Then you can search it. It's also amazing, but it gives me like the same kind of vibes. And also,
Thank you.
I I realized in the internet is that you were part of the national swimming team of Indonesia. How, at what age it was? How it's
Okay. I have to clarify this. Um, I was in grade school. So and the national team of the national swimming team, or the swimming league, is called KONI in Indonesia, Komite Olahraga Nasional Indonesia. And I was in the leading club. So there are several clubs in it, and I was in the leading clubs that was there. I was probably the career, unfortunately, was short lived. I was a very young kid. I started swimming at the age of 4, and I got into the KONI, the national swimming league, when I was 5, and then I stayed there until I was 9. So, and the reason why my mom stopped me was because as we go into like the national championship, or like the Southeast Asian, international championship, um, the the exercises starts like before my school. So at like 3 or 4 a.m. I have to get up and swim, and then go to school. Then after school, like I think at the time we finished around 12 p.m. Then 12 to 3, I would have to go back into the swimming pool and to train again. And then I just started sleeping in my school. So my mom was like, "No, no more swimming for you."
Yeah, it's a lot. You would like to become like on the Olympic team?
I don't know if I want to be in the Olympic team. I feel like I have a lot of respect for athletes, any kinds of athlete, the determination and the discipline that they have is really cool. I don't know if I have it in me, um, but I do like winning. So uh, maybe one day, maybe one day.
Yeah, because when you, for example, in my life, I love playing golf. And when I was younger,
Hmm.
I'm talking about 14, 15, I was putting a lot of hours into the sport, but then I started
Right.
to realize like how alive being a golfer would be, and I didn't like it that
Hmm.
much. I prefer the life of a businessman, perfect, and prefer
Sure.
to go golfing in the evenings. And also, it's a thing that it's like not
Sure.
for everything. The top. Also, moving a little bit on, what's in
Hmm.
this process, I have a like a statement of what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur has a car, and he starts the business. The car is the business, and sometimes it's
Okay.
not, it doesn't have the four tires to start running. But the
Right.
entrepreneur thing is to start assembling it through the road. And in Patémar, I think you started like this. You started with your partner. You didn't know if it was gonna work, and how you knew it was gonna make a profit or you're gonna even break even.
Um, I knew this when I started. I mean, when I started Patamar, I we made our our first minimum viable product. It was kind of dinky. It looks like a little off. The fit was not like what we have right now, so it wasn't perfect, but it was the fastest prototype that we can pull off. Then we started circulating it amongst our friends, whom we thought would be the perfect target market for our product, right? Um, the feedback was very valuable. I mean, they gave us a lot of feedback about the fit, about the short of the length of the inseams, and a lot of different things that we made that contributed to how our shorts are made right now. But the one thing that I understood from all the feedbacks that we've gotten is that they are so shocked that plastic waste can actually be turned into swim shorts. So when I heard that, I thought like, okay, there is an opportunity for learning here. There's an opportunity for people to be fascinated and to be intrigued and to be motivated to purchase or not even to purchase, to understand more what does it mean to own a sustainable premium product, right? Because we're so used in buying fast fashion, we're so used in buying H&Ms and Zara, which is great. I don't have beef with what they have. um but this is sort of a complete mind shift, right? Rather than buying 10 different shorts every 2 weeks, right, from Zara, for example, why don't you get one very well made shorts that
Mhm.
will last like a lifetime, right? And on top of that, it's actually helping your planet, right? So that is the kind of that's the kind of mindset, or that's the kind of feedback that I'm starting to see. And so once I understood that there is a fascination into the core soul of our product or the core soul of our branding, I wanted to make the message very clear that it's not only swim shorts. We're doing this business not just to get money, but also to be a conscious buyer. That's what we're asking for, right? That's why we also put the care labels in each and every shorts, because the way you take care of your shorts or your t-shirts or any clothing that you have do matter, because they can last longer or they can deteriorate faster depending on how you take care of them. So little things like that, it's something that Patamar and me personally is taking on as a mission to educate or let people know that there are multiple ways for you to contribute. You don't have to donate. You don't even have to buy Patamar shorts, right? But by understanding, like, just taking care of your clothing could actually make it last longer, or having like not having microplastic be out in our water system. Things like that is very important.
Yeah, and also instead of buying, I don't know, three pair of shorts of Zara that are gonna last, I don't know, 3 months, less than a year, you can buy a luxury brand like Patemar, and it can last 5 to 10 years, and it's gonna stay
Exactly.
fresh and crispy. And what has been
Yes.
the toughest trial during the process of Patémar? Have you
Ooh.
lost, I don't know, lost a shipping, lost a partner?
Oh my God. Yes. Um,
You
last
started
year
this
we,
3 years ago, right?
sorry? Yeah,
You
I started
started.
3 years ago, correct. Yes, I started 3 years ago. Um, Last year we had a huge deal with GQ US, and it was very important for us because it was our sort of like we've never gone to the US, and we just never had any at the time we just never had any vision to go there, but this opportunity was too good to be missed, right? So I said to myself and to my team, like, fuck it, let's do it. So we said yes to the deal. We sent a couple of hundreds of our shorts from Austria, where our warehouse is, to Texas, where the warehouse in the US was, and it I think it worth roughly the whole shipping worth roughly like around 50,000 US dollar or more. Um, we lost it, the whole
No.
thing. The whole thing was gone. The whole thing was gone, and it's not even about the matter of it's not about how much that we've lost, but we've already said yes to obviously this big client. They're expecting it to come in like 5 days, 5 more days from now, and I'm like, oh my God, like this, I'm royally fucked. Yeah. So that was one of the biggest, probably the most stressful summer I've had so far.
And what happened next? You figured out like to ship it again, or you lost the deal?
So one thing that I learned out of the whole ordeal was sometimes problem tend to solve itself out, right? So what happened was, when that thing happened, I started contacting my the workshop where we make our swim shorts, and obviously each swim shorts here are handmade, so it actually takes a while for them to make. I can't pull that, like, I think that was around 450 to 500 swim shorts. I can't pull that, like, that many in 4 days.
Mm.
Let's just say let's just say I could actually manage to produce that in 4 days. I still have to ship it from Indonesia to the US. Shipping for that would probably gonna take like around 3 to 4 days, the fastest, right? So long story short, like, I did not see a way out of this, right? But in any case, I started contacting my warehouse, started talking to all my tailors, telling them like, hey, I have a huge problem. Can you help out? Can you like call your like tailor buddies? Because Balinese works like a community. So once you're in it, you kind of know everybody, right? Uh so yeah, long story short, the head tailor decided to help me out. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna help you out. Let's make this, but it's not gonna be done in 5 days. It will probably take 12 days, the fastest. And
Okay.
I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna come up with some sort of an excuse. I'm gonna say I'm very sorry. I was ready to lose face in front of my big client. Um, but you just keep producing. Whatever happens, just keep on producing, and I'll send it. Um, so the next morning, when I wanted to have a call with them, they wanted to have a call with me first, and I was like, "Oh shit!" They found out that my product is not in the warehouse, and they're gonna reprimand me. Um, so we had a conversation. They called me and they said like, Rudy, there's been a mistake in the system. Actually, we're gonna sell our promotion. Our summer promotion is actually gonna start in a month, so it's not gonna start in 4 days. And I was like, I was like, Great, perfect. Okay, don't worry about it. That's okay. We have our product in the warehouse already, quote and unquote. Don't worry about it. We'll start selling in a month. We'll hold off for a month. Yeah. So long story short, we got our stuff done. We shipped it, and it was there right on time. Um, yeah, and we started selling with them, which was great. So it was, yeah, that was probably one of the most stressful time because everything has to be like it. I had very little to no buffer time at all for production.
No way. And this was money. Do you have investors in Patémar? This was money all from the revenue, or all from your revenue?
No. This is all money from us. So we don't have any outside investors. The money that we started this, we bootstrapped it from me and my business partner.
It was all your money.
Exactly. Yes, correct.
Shit. And in the journey towards your dream or passion, you agree with me that there are many sleepless nights, crumbled papers, closed door. What door or opportunity denied has been the hardest for you to overcome? It can be like in the process of Patémar, or it can be in your
Mm,
life, something that triggered a passion or something that you overcome that.
right. Something that I could actually think of is actually a continuation of the story of what I just said is that once we did the summer promotion um, with this magazine, they wanted to take a bigger deal for this year, and it was at the amount around 50,000 items and above. So that is a huge deal for us, right? Because they're ready to pay up front. They just wanted this much. Um, and it was amazing. I was on top of the cloud. I was jumping. I was like telling my business partners and like everybody in the team, like, guys, look, this is great. This is a huge success. Then we had our second call. Um, I was very excited. I was just ready to talk about like, okay, let's talk about the timing where we're going to have it shipped and where and how it's gonna work out. Things like that, right? And long story short, it the whole deal didn't work out. Not because they didn't want us, which I think would have been easier in some way, but because we don't have the production capacity to actually make this. The number that they're asking is actually way too huge. And also therefore, if we were to produce this, we would have to expand massively. In the end, we would have lost a lot of money in the whole deal, right? So I had an option to actually borrow money from a bank or relatives or whatnot, or actually to say like, you know what, this deal is not profitable for the company. I'm actually gonna go bankrupt if I say yes to this, which was very hard because the opportunity is right in front of me, right? So until today, I still think about this deal. But one thing that I told them is that once we grow bigger and we have more capacity, I will come back to you and let's make this happen. Um, it was the deal was great, but it was just wasn't the right deal at the capacity that we have right now. So I think that was one door that is like I'm almost there, but not quite. Which I think it's a lot harder than them saying like, sorry, we don't like you, we're not gonna work with you.
Exactly. And also, I think you get lost more, like, that sense of exclusivity of the quality, because as you tell me, everything is handmade. So
Yeah,
creating massively in a short period of time, I don't know, it can lose that sense. In your
exactly.
opinion, which market for luxury, like in your point of view, in the point of view of Patémar, which
Yeah,
market or continent is better for luxury, the America or Europe in general?
for luxury product in general,
Yeah,
China,
China.
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 It's number one consumer for luxury products, 1,000%. They consume like no other person on the planet, especially for luxury products. It's just that China is wired to luxury equals status. I guess it is the same with the rest of the world. Luxury equals status. Certain things indicate a certain status, but China obviously has. We've seen a booming growth in middle class and upper class in China. So people want to get more, people want to buy more. And one thing about luxury product is that what they sell is the aspiration. It's an aspirational product, right? What they sell is the story behind it. What they sell is the visuals that, oh, you could look like this or that celebrity. You can look like you're yachting and somewhere on the coast of Santorini and things like that. And that story is what they're selling. And China buys it the most out of everybody else on this planet.
Wow. I really didn't expect that answer. And
Yes.
after this deal, you tell us you thought of throwing the towel, or in the beginning when you saw the difficulty of what you were creating,
Mm-hmm.
did the
Mm-hmm.
thought
1,000. Yeah.
of throwing away the towel came over?
Yes, 100%. Like multiple times, especially on the beginning. Before I started this venture or this business, I thought like, oh yeah, I kind of know how to make swim shorts. I grew up with garment productions, and I know textile, and I know the right people here's and that. But my journey has always been, I would describe it as a two steps forward, one step backward, right? So in the morning, everything seems like everything went great and rosy. So I went like, okay, great, we're making a progress. And then on the evening, something just went totally wrong. And I was like, okay, one step backward again. Then the next day, it's gonna be the same again and again. Um, I have thought about like, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? I thought about, okay, but how far can I take Patémar? Or like if Patémar is we're selling the right kind of product to the right kind of people. Um, and in the beginning, when I like, what am I even doing? I don't have background in fashion design. I don't know any of this, right? When I look at people like great leaders, for example, they make great products because that's their expertise. Well, for me, I don't have background in fashion, you know? So I have given it a thought a couple of times, like what the frick am I doing with a fashion brand, you know? I don't even know how to sew a hole in my pants. So, but I've over time I've learned that hard skills like that is something that I can learn. So I am currently taking like some sewing classes and just educating myself more on the tailoring part. At the same time, I've also learned to ask for support, right? So I don't have to do everything alone. There are people with expertise in production, in production, in garment production, in fashion production, and fashion design, on like textile reading and things like this. So and that's also the learning for me, is to be able to ask for support and to be able to onboard whoever is on the team, for me to be able to share my struggle, for them to take a part of what I'm doing on my daily basis.
And also that is a big part of a leader, like to take off the pride and just to ask when you don't know.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, you started the brand in the middle of COVID, if my maths are right. How was to
Hmm.
start with the pandemic already through?
So we did see an uptake. So during pandemic, we sold it mostly on in Europe. So I think 98% of our sales came from Europe. Mostly Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, because we're focusing on that region. After pandemic, I mean, yes, after pandemic's over, so around starting from this year, we also started to expand into hotels here in Bali, because obviously tourists could actually come, and also it fits my long-term vision that um, we're taking we're making everything from Bali, and eventually I also want Indonesians to experience it, right? Because it's our pride, you know, like we managed, like an Indonesian managed.
If you could travel back in time today and give a piece of advice to Rudy from 10 years ago, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to try everything that you can try. Like, don't be afraid to fail. And the only way for you to be able to succeed or to fail is just to try a lot of things, right? And um, I grew up quite sheltered, so I was always been sort of told like what to do, and this is the right thing to do, that's the wrong thing to do. Um, Later in my life, I found out like I could actually, you know, I can actually take my own decisions. I can actually figure things out myself. What do I need to follow certain things that people have told me to do? So, um, yeah, I want to tell 10-year-old Rudy, like, just to try. People will laugh, people will cry, people will hate you, people will love you either way. So don't even think about that.
Nice. And it's something everyone can align to their lives. Who is someone that you follow? Like, who is your idol or one model in your life?
Um, I like Phil Knight. So Phil Knight is the founder of Nike. I follow his story quite closely just because there's one trade that I think I mean, obviously aside from his, you know, his being a global phenomenon that he is, there's one trade that I can relate the most and to him, that is his fear of rejection. And I have the same, if I can be perfectly honest and transparent, when I read his book and listen to his documentaries, he talks a lot about how his fear of rejection has closed many doors, not allowing him to excel at his best. And while my journey has just started, this is a reminder that I tell myself every single day, that I have a similar disposition to him, that I do fear rejection. And when I get rejected, I clam up and like my brain just it freezes, and I'm unable to move or think, right? So naturally what happened is that I evade. What happens is I when I kind of know that, you know, this not they're not even going to consider me, they're not even going to consider Patémar, I find excuses in myself. But once I realize that, I'm like, wake up, like just go for it anyway. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You know, like I'm not going to die if they reject me. So that's the main reason why I like him, why I follow his story quite religiously, why I think like he's the way how he sort of grew from, you know, a young kid that, you know, wanted to go to Japan for to pitch his crazy idea, right? And how he became that he is because he overcame that fear of rejection and told himself that this crazy idea can actually change the world, can and he did.
Yeah, exactly. And then how he implemented and put his shoes in every Oregon athlete back then. That's a good, for example, book recommendation. Shoe Dog, it's one of my favorite books. For
It's
me,
a great book.
it's
It's
so
a
good.
great book. Yes,
And
absolutely.
one photo that I think describes Phil Knight himself is this one. It's one of my favorite photos. I'm gonna share this. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
Mm-hmm.
when LeBron James, I think it was the game when he was about to break the record of most points in NBA history. And
Yes.
everyone is in his phone, and Phil Knight, it's just vibing and watching history.
Sean, yeah, absolutely. Such a boss.
Yeah, Phil Knight, it's amazing. All his journey to Japan, back to the US, how he only paid, I think it was $40 for the swoosh. That
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy. So to start wrapping up, it has been a pleasure, Rudy. It's amazing. Your story is amazing. The story of the brand is
Thank you. Thank you.
incredible.
It's entirely my pleasure.
And any advice you have for the young listeners who are searching for also their life mission or trying to fulfill their dreams, what would you say to them?
One, don't be afraid to fuck things up because you will. Like, no matter how perfect you are, you will fuck up. Trust me. Two is don't be afraid to ask for support. Those are the two things that I think will take you very far in life, and not just in your professional, but also personal life.
Perfect. So for everyone, for you to listen, Rudy, it's a big story that is thriving through success, creating an incredible brand, and it's also unique because I have saw a lot of I haven't seen a lot of brands like his. So really, to wrap this up, we have a game here in Gomztalkz called Rapid Fire. I'm gonna put one on the clock, and it's a surprise set of words related with you and your career, and you only have
Oh
to
my God.
the first
Okay.
the
Okay.
first that pops up your head. So
Sure.
I'm gonna when I say the first word, I'm gonna start the
Mhm.
clock, and when it's 1 minute, we will see how many you get and in which part of the Gomztalkz leaderboard you're gonna be in.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay, great. Yes, let's do it.
Perfect. Patémar,
Cool.
family.
Important.
Sí,
See?
sí,
Oh, the sea.
sí.
Okay. Beautiful.
Recycling,
Amazing.
swimming,
Rudy.
Indonesia,
Pretty.
the green color,
Hot.
Bali,
Amazing.
Hult International Business School,
Tiring.
San Francisco,
Oh, unforgettable.
luxury,
Okay. Just okay.
fabric,
Fabric. Smooth.
diving,
The most amazing thing in the world.
plastic.
Not fantastic.
Exactly. There we are.
Yeah.
Excellent. 1 minute.
Yes. How many points did I get?
Let's count 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points.
14 points.
Honestly, I don't remember how's the leaderboard going. You can see it then next
Okay.
Thursday on our on Gomztalkz Instagram stories. There we have every people that has tried this. So
Okay.
that's all. Thank you so much for your time, Rudy. Have a good night of sleep if you're gonna sleep right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sebastian, for the opportunity. I really enjoy this, and good luck with your podcast.
Thank you very much. If you come to Mexico, let me know. Or also, if you go around Boston or New York, let me know to take a beer, take a coffee. It would be amazing to meet you in person soon. And also, if I go to Bali soon, I'll let you know.
Well, I mean, you have to now.
Yeah. I told you
Yeah.
it's one of the things I wanted to do, like just to go 1 or 2 months to Bali, to go diving, to vibe, and to relax a little bit. So for sure, I'm gonna go soon.
Perfect. Okay. Great. Let's stay connected. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you, really. Thank you, everyone who joined us for the